Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be going over some of the new tips and tricks I just learned from watching Sir John's collab with both Desi Perkins and Makeupshayla. And if you don't know who Sir John is, he is the makeup artist to Beyonce. So yeah, basically I'm going to be turning into Beyonce in this video, so stay tuned. So I watched both videos today and I just felt completely inspired, and I was uninspired. I wasn't even gonna film today, and after watching those two videos I just felt completely inspired to try out some of these tricks. Some of the tricks that he has, to me, those were like makeup no-nos. Like, don't do that. And I don't want to give it away. You have to watch the video to see what all of the new tricks are. Well, they're not new tricks. Obviously, he's been doing them for a long time, but they aren't something that you see on YouTube and Instagram. Yeah, he did a lot of things that to me, it was like, like, really? You're gonna do that? So they were like mind-blowing tricks. So I just wanted to try them out, put all his tips and tricks into action, and see what we come up with. So if you guys wanted to see what I thought were his top 10 tricks, just keep watching. Okay, so I already have my brows drawn on, so I am going to be skipping over one of the like pretty main tips that he said, so I did want to just make note of it. He said to use wig glue in your brows to keep all of the hairs in place and to brush them upwards. Also, the glue adds texture when you're drawing on your brows to make it look more realistic and hair-like. But I don't have wig glue, nor do I want to put that in my brows today because I just feel like that's gonna be really messy, and I don't actually have many brow hairs at all. Like I said, this is already like fully drawn on for me. So I feel like wig glue might pull some of the very few hairs I have out. So I'm gonna skip that step, but I just wanted to point it out because that was kind of like one of the main things that he was saying. So the first tip that I'm gonna be starting with today is to not use concealer as an eyeshadow base. With Instagram makeup, that is a very popular thing to do. I love using concealer as my eyeshadow base because I have so much like redness on my eyes. I also have a lot of blue veins, blue or purple veins that show through, and I hate that. I think it's so gross. So by me starting with a nice concealer base, I have a clean slate to work with. However, he says that he likes the natural textures and shadows of the eyes. I don't really know if that rule applies if you're my complexion. If you're a little bit more olive, a lot of times you have darkness on your eyelids and it kind of already looks like you have eyeshadow on without makeup. For example, like Kim Kardashian's skin tone. It does kind of have like a nice darkness. So we're going to be kicking it old school with the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer, the primer potion. So I just happened to just get this. I don't know, it's so tiny. It was from like my Sephora points or something, or it came in maybe a Sephora play box. So we are going to start by priming our lids with a no color eyeshadow primer. I haven't used this in forever. I'm now wondering if there's color in it now. No, there's not. It blends out clear. So that is going to be the primer. Now he didn't even set it because this feels like super wet. I would normally set my primer with a like translucent powder or something, but he didn't do that. So we're just going to try this out completely his way. Next, I'm going to go straight into eyeshadow. Now, his collab is with Luminess Cosmetics, and I do happen to have two of their palettes. right here. So I was planning on using these. However, there's just not enough shades to work with in here. This one, the only matte shade is red, and in this one, the only matte shade is that dark blue. So I decided against using my Luminess Cosmetics. Instead, I'm gonna use this Zoeva palette right here. Let me see. It's called Caramel Melange. I feel like I should know that word or how to say it, but I don't. So anyway, this is the palette, and it has a lot of similar shades to his palette, which I think are super beautiful colors. I'm definitely going to be picking his palette up as soon as it launches. So as we start with this eyeshadow palette, that brings me to his next tip or trick, which he didn't like make a big deal about or like say, but it's different than how I do my makeup. I always start with my transition shade and then darken my crease and then cut my crease on the inner portion with concealer and more concealer, a second layer of concealer, and then pack the shimmer on top of that so it really locks it in and stays. And I have found that that works best for me. I have seen other people use his technique, which is to start with the shimmer on the lid and then blend it out upwards. I don't typically do that because I'm always scared that as I'm blending, the shimmer from the lid is going to blend into my crease and create like a muddy look. And I never, ever, 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 my main rule is to never put shimmer in the crease. So he didn't put shimmer in the crease, but I just feel like this style could be dangerous for me. So let's give it a try. So I'm going to be using this shade right here. I'm gonna be starting with that. That is called Liquid Center. This brings me to his third tip, which is to use your fingers. That's something that is fine for your own makeup, but if you are doing makeup professionally, you probably don't want to use your fingers unless you are super close with your client like he is and take all of the necessary sanitary precautions. So since I'm just doing myself, let me start. I'm just gonna pack this shimmer onto my lid. I kind of like using my finger because I definitely do agree that warming up face products with your finger will make them perform better. And then I also believe that using your finger for like a shimmery eyeshadow is going to make it more vibrant and more pigmented. So this is what it looks like. I'm not exactly sure how high I want to take it, just because, like I said, I'm so worried about putting the other colors down and then the shimmer blending into my crease. I'm going to take a little bit of the gold shimmer and just pop that on the center of my lids, just for a little extra dimension. And then now I'll be going in with a fluffy blending brush. This is from Lab 2, and I'm going to be picking up Dart Soft. And I'm buffing that right into my crease. So far, so good. Now I'm dipping in the same palette into Feeling Sensual. And I'm just putting this on the outer V. And then again, deepening up the outer V. Next I'm switching to a smaller blending brush. This is the Kylie brush. It's that came in her peach palette, most similar to a MAC 117. 117? Am I right? And I am going to be picking up the color Edible Gem and just focusing that on the outer portion to deepen things up a little bit more. So far so good, guys. I really like how it's coming out. I'm going to be taking that dark color onto my lower a little bit just to finish off this outer corner. And then just switching back to the big brush and dipping into the shade I used before, Start Soft, and just making sure that there's no harsh lines. Take that along the bottom as well. Then I'm going back in with a little bit more of that gold shimmer and just making it pop again. I feel like it blends it out a little bit. And I'm gonna also put it right in here. Now I'm going to pop on some mascara and lashes. For mascara today, I'm going to be trying out the new Revlon So Fierce mascara. I just received this in the mail. I haven't tried it yet. I like this mascara. I think my lashes actually look pretty good. I'm never too picky with mascaras, so I know I'm always gonna pop some lashes on after, and I don't really have much lashes to work with, but I think this mascara is actually really nice. I can definitely see my lashes. Okay, so for falsies today, I'm going to be using this pair of lashes. I've used them before, and I'm literally the worst. I never put anything back. I believe that they came in this box, which is Lily Lashes in the shade Goddess. Okay, so now that we have the lashes on, this brings me to his next tip that I noticed he did, which was he curled the lashes once the falsies were already on. So I'm gonna go ahead and curl my lashes. Actually, first, let me go back in with mascara. This is something that I already do, and that's just push those real lashes into the fake ones. But I guess to further keep them together, I noticed that he curled after. Now, I don't do this because I'm scared of ruining my beautiful Lily lashes. But we're gonna do it today for the sake of the video. And I do totally understand why he would do this, because now the real lashes are going to be super stuck to the falsies. Okay, so I just did it on this one, and you can tell those lashes are going straight up, whereas these are going like outward more, which I think I do prefer them to just go out than up to my brows. Let me push it down a little. But again, that is a great tip to make sure that all of the lashes are like blending together and that you don't see the short, natural, stubby ones separate from your falsies. So now we're gonna move on to face makeup, and his next tip was to apply your foundation right after you put your moisturizer on. So I typically will put moisturizer on, let it sink into my skin, and do my eyes, and then come back and put my foundation on. But his advice was that you wanna put your foundation on while your skin is freshly moisturized. So I'm just going to be grabbing this MAC Mineralize Time Check Lotion and moisturizing my skin. While we're on the subject of moisturizer, another tip he pointed out was when he's doing Beyonce's makeup and he knows that she's about to go on stage and sweat, he'll sometimes skip the moisturizer on the face, but he'll still moisturize the under eye, because the under eye, as we get older, is really dry, and you don't want your concealer to look cakey or like once you set your makeup, you don't want it to cake up and get bumpy, which is something that does happen with mature skin. So always make sure to moisturize the under eye. So since we're talking about under eyes, I'm just gonna throw some MAC for Fast Response Eye Cream on my under eyes as well. For foundation today, I'm going to be using, I'm going to be using this Il Makiage foundation. I am using the shade 105, and I'm going to be applying it with a beauty blender since he used a beauty blender. He mentioned that he likes the beauty blender because he likes to have a very light coverage. You can always add extra coverage on problem areas, but there's no sense in having like a super full coverage if you don't need it. So I don't really have anything I need to cover. For me, foundation is more so just about like evening out my complexion, covering the redness and like any veins that show through on my super pale face. Side note, my face is lighter than my body because I don't spray tan my face. I just don't want the chemicals on it. Spray tans or any sunless tanning is very drying, and I don't need to be drying out my face and getting wrinkles sooner than I have to. Okay, so now we're ready for our next tip, which is about concealer. So he says he does put his concealer on after his face makeup, which is what I do as well. But normally I wouldn't have any eyeshadow on my lower lash line yet. For me and all of your favorite YouTubers, I never really see anyone put their concealer on after they already have their eyeshadow on. But his reasoning behind it is that he wants to shape the eye. So when you're working with mature skin, gravity kind of makes everything sag, for a lack of a better word. So he uses this trick with the concealer to then lift the eye. So I am excited to see how this works. I'm gonna like drag it upwards to lift. So I actually think I really like how that looks. I don't mind that at all. My only concern going into it is that now you're not going to have a blended gradient of eyeshadow on your lower lash line. It's gonna be more of like a harsh cut line, which leads me to his next tip. And that is to blend out your shadow with your contour color. So he specified that he likes to use contour shade Taupe from MAC. I don't have that, but I do have a very similar shade, which is the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow Base Sculpt. So I'm going to be using this color right here. And just going back in with a fluffy blending brush and blending that out with this contour color. Also going to be just taking this on the upper. For our next tip today, I am going to be setting my under eyes. Now, he did specify in his videos to never use a pressed powder. I just would never gravitate towards a pressed powder for pretty much anything besides like blotting midday through if some oils show, because it's too complicated, I guess, to bring like a loose powder with you. So you could just use a pressed powder compact if you're just touching up throughout the day, but that's pretty much the only thing I would use a pressed powder for. But he did specify to use a loose powder and to use one that is really finely milled. I don't know if you can see this, but it just super sheer light powder. So I am using from Beauty Bakery. It is called Flower, I believe. So since I already use a loose powder, the tip that I'm going to be trying out with setting my under eyes is that he uses an eyeshadow brush. He uses a blending brush. So I am just going to be lightly setting. And I do believe that this is also probably a really good tip when working with mature skin. So that way you don't get too much product. He said something about the under eyes with not using more than you need. So I guess that is all we need just to set and lock in. However, I'm a big baking advocate, so I just want to grab a big brush like this and really just get in there and just throw it all on there. But that's not the point of this video. Okay, so now we're ready to contour. I did learn a lot of cool tricks about contouring. He used a cream contour palette. I don't have one right in front of me, so I'm gonna be picking up the Anastasia cream contour stick, but I'm gonna be applying it in a similar way that he did. I can't really remember what kind of brush he used. I'm gonna grab this one just because it seems about the right size, and I'm gonna get the product on the brush. That way I'm not drawing more than I need on my skin. And I'm just gonna start contouring. Now he didn't take it all the way up on the forehead, he just kind of took it on the temples, and I really did like how that looked. And he also emphasized brushing it into the hairline, and he called that burning the hairline. Never heard that term before. So we'll try to burn that hairline a little bit. So again, I'm just putting it on the temples. I don't really think he brought it up here. The only spot I would really need to burn that hairline is up here. So we're gonna put a little up there. And a little more, I think. So after he applied his cream contour, so he then contours with powder. Of course, I'm again using the shade I have most similar to MAC blush in the shade Taupe, which is again my Charlotte Tilbury bronzer palette. And even though Charlotte's calling it a bronzer here, I think it's more of a contour color because it is so dark and ashy. Now we're ready for his tip. What am I gonna grab? So his tip with contouring, besides to lay down the cream contour and then the powder contour, is then to blend it out with bronzer. So I'm gonna be picking up Benefit Hoola. And just in case anyone is wondering like what's the difference between contour and bronzer exactly, because I'm sure a lot of people just contour with their bronzer, which is fine if you're in a rush. A bronzer is gonna have more of an orange tone, where a contour shade is gonna be more of taupe, and it's going to be dark and look like a shadow on your face. Whereas the bronzer has just much more of an orange tone. And I believe he went like back in with contour and then back in with bronzer, and he was putting creams on top of powders, and honestly that scares me. I always would even teach to lay out all your creams and then set with your powders, because it can get muddy. So now we're ready for blush. And he uses a cream blush, which is something that I absolutely never do just because by this point I have so many powder products on my face that putting a cream on top scares the crap out of me. But if I can find a cream blush in the next couple seconds, we will do it with a cream. We will use it. So we are in luck. I just found a blush serum, which is a water-based cheek and lip color. It is by Beauty. I've never used it before. Actually, the plastic wrap is still on it, and I wasn't ever planning on using it, but today is the time to try it out because it's all about trying new things and hopefully finding some new tricks that work for me that I can utilize for myself and clients. So, oh my gosh, this is pink, and I don't know how pigmented it's going to come out. I'm gonna put it on my hand first. Okay, so I just squeezed a little bit of cream blush onto my hand, and I'm going to be picking up the same brush that I used for my cream bronzer, and I'm just practicing, I guess, on my hand so I can see how much product is going to come out. And I know many people swear by cream blushes, but for me, it's just not worth the risk of putting a cream on top of an already set face. Okay. Well, it didn't move any of the products around that I was scared of messing up, but I'm not exactly sure it's blended. So I'm just gonna go over with my beauty blender. Now he also took some blush and put it up here and up here, and also right here on the chest. Okay, now I'm getting carried away. It was working out so easy and I wasn't expecting it to, that I'm just getting a little carried away. So that's enough blush. Now moving on, I'm gonna go back to contouring. I'm going to be picking up the same contour shade here. And of course we should always carry that right into our eyelids, but he did stress that, so that's something that I probably only do if I'm doing my face makeup first, but if my eyeshadow is already done, I don't touch it. I'd stop right here, but for the sake of the video, he went heavily back into the eyeshadow. So I had to step away and grab this as well. I grabbed this cream highlight. It is by Lottie London. I just got this. I haven't tried it yet since I don't typically use cream highlights. Again, I'm just scared once the face is set and perfect to apply a cream on top of a powder. But we're going to do it today, so let's check this out. Take the seal off. Okay, so again, I'm gonna put a little bit of this cream on that same brush I was using for cream products. I'm just gonna blend it out on my hand to see how that goes. Oh boy, that's wet. I'm scared. And since I already blotted off a lot on my hand, I'm just going in with a very light pressure. Okay, that looks pretty. And then I might as well use this Charlotte highlight. So now a powder highlight on top of the cream, which does make sense in the sense that it'll make the powder highlight really pop. Since it has a cream to hold on to, I just want to make sure it fully looks blended in with the rest of my skin. So I guess maybe we'll just pounce over with the Beauty Blender just to make sure. Guys, I really like how everything came out. So to finish off this look, I am going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat, which is her lip liner in the shade Pillow Talk. And I just overline my lips the slightest amount down here and right here. I never overline the sides because that, to me, looks like bad lip injections when, you know, they got the duck lips. I hate that. I want my lips to be more doll-like, so I like them to look full here and here, and then get like smaller on the sides. I'm going to be using the matching Charlotte Tilbury lipstick in Pillow Talk. And then topping that off with the Patrick Ta gloss in She's an Influencer. I just filmed a whole review of this line. I didn't upload it yet, and I'm so excited to upload this video. I might upload this one first, but stay tuned. A whole review on this line is coming soon as I get around to posting it. For setting spray today, I am going to be using this Morphe setting spray. I feel so weird not highlighting my nose, but I don't think he highlighted noses today, so we'll leave that Instagram highlighted nose for another video. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this look. I am loving it. Everything looks super blended, super natural, no harsh lines, even though I do love a good cut crease, love a good sharp wing, love a good glitter moment. But we have none of that today. Everything is super soft and blended and very red carpet celebrity-like makeup. And I am really liking it. What do you think, guys? Am I ready for the red carpet? So that completes this look for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're able to learn something from this video, and I will be linking both the Desi and the Shayla videos with Sir John below, so you should definitely check them out. They were super informative, and watching both really, I think, made it easy for me to remember these tricks, because, you know, you need to hear it a couple times to like remember. So yeah, I actually didn't even take notes on the tips and tricks while I was watching them. It was kind of like after watching the second video today, they were both just posted, I guess yesterday or today, I had all of these ideas in my head of like wanting to try out all his tricks, so I just had to like run upstairs and film. And I wasn't even going to film today because I was feeling completely uninspired, and he totally inspired me to give it all a try, and I'm so glad he did because I think it looks awesome. And I might not do some of these every single day. I might not do some of these ever again, but I'm glad I tried them all out. I think I'm still going to be a little skeptical layering powders and then creams and then more powders and then creams. That for sure I'm going to be skeptical about, because I would never want to like mess up or like get, by putting the cream on top of a powder, that's just a very dangerous thing. So I think mainly he was able to do it because I don't think he ever set the full face. So that's another thing. I'm not ready to give that up. I love setting the full face. I want my clients' makeup to last, and I feel like what really makes it last, for me at least, is by having that full setting powder moment. And I also do love this, and I think if you don't have oily skin, this is so pretty because you do see some of the natural oils from my skin, and all of this makeup looks so skin-like. So I'm torn on that. Like, I still want to like bake a little bit, you know? I want to sharpen up that contour and this and that. So some things I'm just not ready to give up. Celebrity makeup is so pretty for like a red carpet, and of course they don't want to look overdone and have these like crazy cut creases and glitter line like in the middle of their lid. Like, of course that's not really realistic for like a red carpet or even like an out in public kind of look, but I do love that for like Instagram, and I think it's a lot of fun. So I'm probably still gonna continue to do eyeshadow the way I have been. I'm gonna use a concealer. Although this worked great, I really haven't used that Urban Decay Primer Potion in a decade possibly, but I'm still gonna use concealer on my eyelids. I'm obsessed with that. I'm obsessed with cutting the crease with concealer. Probably not gonna be using my fingers on my clients. What else? But I do love using this contour shade more often. I'm gonna throw this in my kit. Right now this is just on my filming desk, but yeah, this belongs in my kit. I do love that super shadowy contour moment there, blending it out with the bronzer. There was a lot of great things we learned today. What are some of the other things? The concealer to shape the eye, I do like that. I'm definitely gonna do that on any of my mature clients. I think it also stops you from taking the concealer, obviously, all the way up to the lash line, because there's not really any skin perfections that you need to bring it up here for. So we are just using too much product by putting the concealer on first. So I will definitely, finish the full eye and then do the concealer. I'm down for that tip for sure. Blending it out with this contour shade, one of my favorite parts of this. And I don't know, cream blush, cream highlight. Am I gonna be a changed woman after this? We'll see. Gotta keep watching my videos to find out. So make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss when I upload. And also, if you aren't already, you can follow me on Instagram at makeup_Kara. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment below, let me know what tips you liked, let me know which ones you didn't like, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.